Can this be May? Or this? This is the question posed by poet Frances Sargent Osgood in her poem May Day in New England. May 1st, or May Day, in song, story, and popular conception, is a celebration of flowers and greenery. While many places in the world are in full bloom with flowers, Maine and New England watch with envious eyes. Here, many birds have yet to return. The trees have not leafed out, and it's possible to have snow on the ground. Nonetheless, after a long, cold winter and spring, New Englanders have stubbornly celebrated May Day with desperation.
Can this be May? Can this be May? We have not found a flower today. We roamed the wood, we climbed the hill, we rested by the rushing rill, and lest they had forgot the day, we told them it was May, dear May. We called these sweet wild blooms by name. We shouted, and no answer came. From smiling field or solemn hill, from rugged rock or rushing rill, we only bade the pretty pets just breathe out from their hiding places. We told the little light coquettes they needn't show their bashful faces. One sigh, we said, one fragrant sigh will soon discover where you lie. The roguish things were still as death. They wouldn't even breathe a breath. Alas, there's none so deaf, I fear, as those who do not wish to hear. We wandered to an open place, and sought the sunny buttercup that so delighted in your face, just like a pleasant smile looks up. We peeped into a shady spot, to find the blue forget-me-not. At last, a far-off voice we heard, a voice as of a fountain fall, that softer than a singing bird, that answered to our merry call. So wildly sweet the breezes brought that tone in every pause of ours, that we delighted, fondly thought it must be talking of the flowers. We knew the violets loved to hide the cool and lulling wave beside. With song and laugh and bounding feet, and wild hair wandering on the wind, we swift pursued the murmurs sweet, but not a blossom could we find. The cowslip, crocus, columbine, the violet and the snowdrop fine, the orchis 'neath the hawthorn tree, the bluebell and anemone, the wild rose, eglantine, and daisy. Where are they all? They must be lazy. Perhaps they're playing hide and seek. Oh, naughty flowers, why don't you speak? We have not found a flower today. They surely cannot know 'tis May. You have not found a flower today? What's that upon your cheek, I pray? A blossom pure and sweet and wild, and worth all nature's blooming wealth. Not all in vain your search, my child. You found at least the rose of health. The golden buttercup, you say, that like a smile illumes the way, is nowhere to be seen today? Fair child, upon that beaming face a softer, lovelier smile I trace, a treasure on the sunshine bright, a glow of love and wild delight. Then pine no more for nature's toy. Yes, in a heart so young and gay and kind as yours, 'tis always May. For gentle feelings, love, are flowers that bloom through life's most clouded hours. Ah, cherish them, my happy child, and check the weeds that wander wild. And while their stainless wealth is given in incense sweet to earth and heaven, no longer will you need to say, can this be May? Can this be May?
The word May comes from the Roman Mother Earth goddess Maya. The month has long been associated with the revival of greenery, and some ancient calendars marked May 1st as the first day of summer. But our New England May Day is a celebration of spring, and was inherited from Old England. There are many written accounts of an Old English May Day, but we are going to sing one for you, a May carol from Bedfordshire.
I've been a-rambling all the night, and the best part of the day, and now I am returning back again. I have brought you a branch of May. A branch of May, my dear, I say, before your door I stand. It's nothing but a sprout, but it's well budded out by the work of our Lord's hand. And now my song is almost done. I can no longer stay. God bless you all, both great and small. I wish you a joyful May.
This May celebration was brought over to New England even in the earliest days of settlement. As famously depicted by Hawthorne in the Maypole of Merrymount, the Massachusetts Puritans tried to suppress May celebrations. But much to Governor John Endicott's dismay, it would appear that the crew of Comus would win out after all. Listen to this description of May Day in Boston from 1841. Pedanious excursions are planned, and parties made up on the previous evening. And woe betide the lover who is so deficient in gallantry as to oversleep the hour, while his wakeful mistress is anxiously waiting to hear his signal tap at her window. Their walks generally extend 2 or 3 miles into the country, in such directions as whim or fancy may dictate. The ostensible object withal is to inhale the morning air, behold the rising sun, and collect May greens and flowers. That is, if any of the latter can be found in bloom. There does happen to be at least one flower that is in bloom by May 1st in Maine. Laura Beam, who grew up in Marshfield, Maine, at the end of the 1800s, writes about it in her book, A Maine Hamlet. On a May Sunday, bands of young men walked back into the forest after trailing arbutus. The arbutus walk had some of the elements of mystery, as if the elect could scale Mount Fuji and others could only wait around at the foot. The Mayflowers were distant, fragile, rare. The search was long, arduous, male. No woman ever knew the ground where they grew. When the boys came back at night, they tied up little nosegays of pale Mayflowers among tough green leaves and distributed them to girls and women all over the settlement. If you'd like to go on your own Maine Arbutus Walk, as Laura Beam called it, you can hike Schoodic Mountain in the Donald Pond Public Reserve lands. But, as we just heard, the flowers are distant, fragile, and rare, so please don't pick them. Leave them there for others to enjoy. The trailing arbutus is in bloom from April until May, and you may find it in sandy soils on mountainsides. Its trailing woody stem and evergreen leaves can be found very close to the ground among dead leaves, hence its Latin name Epigea, which means upon the earth. The flowers themselves are pale pink to white and very fragrant. Interestingly, they can be male, female, or both, and sometimes all on the same plant. Because it's in bloom by May, trailing arbutus is also known as Mayflower. Of course, the Plymouth Pilgrims sailed to the New World on the Mayflower. In her How to Know the Wildflowers, Frances Dana tells us that nosegays of Plymouth Mayflowers were sold on the streets of Boston. Although the ship's name refers to a completely different flower, the poets and the public have thought of trailing arbutus as a symbol for the Pilgrims' new beginning after a trying winter. The flowers blooming deep in the woods out of dead leaves and snow also perfectly represent our own struggle with the long and arduous winter and our own stubbornness on welcoming spring, whether it's ready or not. Just like in Osgood's poem, spring comes in our hearts before it comes with the weather. On May Day, if you keep this in mind, no longer will you need to say, "Can this be May?"